Last thing I'll throw out to you, perfectly in line with what you're saying. A lot of people say, well, the Tower of Babel, the curse has been undone by Christ. So like the sort of like the post-millennial view of this would be like people who kind of think, Christians who think we're already living in the millennium, basically, that it's our job, like the curse has already been undone, and it's our job as Christians to sort of subdue and conquer the world and to redeem everything for good. Kev, has the curse of Babel been undone by the work of Christ?
Yes. I mean, yes, it has. Far as, well, for one, I do like the fact that, when all these different languages, when God confused people with different languages, what happened on the day of Pentecost? People started speaking
Exactly.
different languages. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for that's definitely one curse that was, that Christ had ended there. But one thing that's for certain, that the evil that existed back then is still alive and prevalent today
Mm-hmm.
as well. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's still something to think about. And
Mm-hmm.
just like we were talking about earlier with technology. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course he did, but the evil still
In some
exists
ways,
in some ways.
but the
Yes,
evil still exists. So I think this is the most important thing to clarify and to nuance. Because you're right. You're so right to point to Pentecost. We, in this series, are also studying the book of Acts. And when we were in Acts chapter 2, I mean, that event is one of the most important events in history. And we
right,
talked about how it corresponds with Exodus and God giving the law and sort of undoing the curse of the law. Not that the law is cursed, praise God. The law is good and right. The law was a pedagogue to bring us to Christ. The law was meant to expose our shortcomings. But by the same token, Pentecost affected the church. The
right.
church, God in this way, it definitely is supposed to take our minds back to Babel. The church and the people of God now are understanding each other, and we who have been redeemed are sort of like set free from this whole, you're not bound and determined to do wickedness anymore.
That's right.
You're not bound and destined to act wickedly. When you congregate, bad things happen. No, when you congregate, the Lord is exalted, the Lamb is worshiped, and you're edified and built up and become more like him for the church. But then, see, in the world, we've got all this madness still happening.
That's right.
And so, like, on one hand, it's so important to say, yes, in some ways, what happened at Pentecost does undo what happened at Babel. In the other ways, don't think for a minute that we are going to conquer the world through goodness and through reforming fallen people. The only way that people are going to be saved is through faith in Jesus Christ. That's
Right.
it. And if Christians get so off track that they think, well, hey, Babel's been reversed, let's just go and love everybody unconditionally, and let's build hospitals and schools. And nothing wrong with building hospitals and schools. That is a wonderful thing that Christians have been doing forever, and it's part of our calling, and it's hugely important. But it does not stop there. The gospel has to be first and forward, and the salvation of souls, the redemption of souls, has to be what we lead with.
Right.
Not what we just sort of let bring up the tail end of all of our good deeds. Good deeds are not enough to redeem humanity. Christ is the only one that can redeem people. And that's the difference, Kev. Like, this is a big problem I have with sort of the whole post-millennial theology is they think that they're going to sort of back people into the kingdom through making the world a better place. It's never going to happen that way. People are going to be redeemed by the Lamb, and the world will become a better place when he makes it brand new, when he returns.
That's right.
All through the Bible, from this point on, Babylon represents the human collective that opposes God.
Right.
Whether it takes the form of religion, government, organizational body, whatever, however, Babylon always represents the human collective that wants to be independent from God, that doesn't need God, and that wants to actually overcome and conquer God. That's why it's so important for Christians to be very careful how they engage with politics, right? The kingdoms
Right.
of this world are not going to be redeemed. The king will come and bring his kingdom. And we as believers glimpse it now in the spirit, but we're not going to see it fully realized until he returns. We can live in it now with the joy and the peace of the Lord that never leave us. And by way of advancement, right? We invite people into God's kingdom through faith in Jesus Christ. But we're not going to see it through achieving it on our own apart from him. He's going to bring
Right.
it. And so Babylon, dude, how does the Bible actually end, Kev? I mean, almost the last chapter. It's Revelation 18. The Bible ends right as the Lamb is coming back. It says, fallen is Babylon the Great. She's become the dwelling place for demons. It goes into everything that Babylon has become through
Right.
the millennia. This human collective that wants to be independent from God and has all these great, has all these masquerades with all these good intentions and human virtue and the human collective. And wouldn't it be great if we just got rid of all the religion and we just all loved each other? No, it'd be, no, it's either you're on God's team and you're a follower of Jesus and you're following the way into the kingdom, or you're not.
That's right.
And everything else is Babylon, and Babylon will fall
That's right.
one day.
That's right.
That was kind of a long rant I just went on, wasn't
No,
it?
it's good. It's good stuff. It's I truly enjoyed going back and reading this story and sitting and really pondering it throughout the weekend, because it's one of those stories I've known my whole life, but I never dug deep into it until the past few days. And I enjoyed. There's a lot to come from it.
Yeah. Totally, man. Totally. I think it's just as important as the flood. It's just as important as everything that comes before it in the Bible. It sets the stage for
Right.
what's going to come after it. And, from here, the people scatter once again, and God calls one man to leave his home and his city and his pagan religion and to set out and follow God and allow God to lead him into a covenant and into a nation of righteous people and into a land that will be his, so that God's name can be exalted in all the earth through him. And that's Abraham, and he's who comes next. But you can't understand that story or any other story if you don't see where it all went wrong right here and right now. And that's, look, make sure that nothing in your life is being done in opposition to the God who loves you and wants what's best for you, wants to give you life. Right. Let everything in your life be submitted to him, and don't be building towers and monuments to yourself, whether you realize it or not. Check yourself.
Right.
And make sure that you are, you're not secretly building Babylon, as opposed to revealing his kingdom in the world.
That's it.